Well, Mia Saifur Rahman here. Another unprecedented example of China's iron brother cooperation has come forward in the form of payment in Chinese currency, RMB, renminbi, or Chinese yuan, also known as CNY, for the payment of Russian crude oil. That is, 45,000 of the Russian crude oil has already come into Pakistan, and 50,000 or 55,000 metric tons are coming very soon. So that is what is we call practical governance. So you can call it by any name. So practical governance and practical example of shared prosperity that President Xi Jinping envisions, shared prosperity. And Pakistan is a beneficiary, is also one of the prime beneficiaries of this cooperation, of this wholehearted cooperation and shared prosperity, or what our Chinese iron brothers call a win-win cooperation. And that is something. And another good development has taken place, and that is a mega level or a huge level of cooperation between China and Saudi Arabia in billions of dollars. So that also becomes a triangular circle that Pakistan can utilize if through a good diplomatic way, good diplomatic way, as in the past Zulfikar Ali Bhutto has been using such triangular relationships. I mean, China, he became a bridge between China and United States, and that was a big breakthrough in the history of diplomacy. So that is why at that time, the Time magazine said, when Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was shaking hands with Henry Kissinger, the Time magazine, or perhaps it was Newsweek, I'm confusing one for the other, it was written, a first class diplomat meets another first class diplomat. So now is an era of economic diplomacy. As I remember, even Benazir Bhutto also once passed an instruction on a note by her secretary that a consul general was to be posted in some area in America. So she said, why a consul general only? Why a person looking after the consular affairs only? Why not an economic minister or a trade commissioner or an economic counselor? So now is an era of economic cooperation, and China is forthright in strengthening Pakistan, whatever the terms may be. And let me be very clear about it. So where the concept of shared prosperity comes, there we should not doubt the intentions of the people. If somebody is helping us in distress, or in the moments of distress, when we are cash starved, and when the world is divided or split into many divisions, into many schisms, under the dictation or whatever you call it, under influences, though it is an interdependent world. But now Pakistan seems to have made a diplomatic triumph this way. It was once again revisited, this diplomatic triumph, by the present government. I think that if this cooperation continues, then one day we may come out of the clutches of IMF and all such, I mean, despondency and dependency, and you can say dejection at least. So the Russian oil that has come, that will be refined very soon, and that will be given at a lower cost to the consumers. So as somebody, as the minister as the minister of information, Marie Aurangzeb, also told us today, and as the chairman board of LESCO, board of directors LESCO, Hafiz Noman, told me yesterday during a TV program, that this will help lessen the fuel adjustment surcharge and thus lower the prices of electricity. And let us hope that happens. Now, I also want to recall one or two visits in which I accompanied Mr. Mehdi. I forgot to name him in my last vlog. Mr. Mehndi is I call him an ambassador at large. He has gone to China 12 times. I have gone to China 5 times. And he knows the names of the Chinese cities, their characteristics, their ins and outs, their pros and cons, their positives and negatives on his fingertips. So that is very important. In one delegation, in which I went to China, he was heading it, and in another delegation, the another delegation was headed by Zafaruddin Mahmood, and all the time Chinese Consul General at Lahore, they have been very, very cooperative, very friendly, like real iron brothers. And once I was invited directly by the Chinese embassy, and I went over there and I was issued a visa. And prior to that, as I told you, I went to Boa Forum Conference in the US, in the Pakistan Air Force, one plane, along with the then Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani. So I once again say, Pakistan, China, or Sino-Pak relationship, long live Pakistan-China friendship. And somebody was telling me that in this Belt and Road Initiative, China has also started a rail link, a lengthy rail link through the Central Asian Republic and to European countries through Turkey. So that is also a big success story, and it is also a sort of a global interconnectivity. A world of peaceful coexistence is coming into being, courtesy the Chinese vision. People say Chinese characteristics, I say Chinese vision. So we must continue this diplomacy in which we can strike a balance between our relationship with our old ally America, and at the same time uh, can uh, can get resources, needed resources from Russia and China. So that's very important. So this is the success of diplomacy and foreign policy. So foreign policy doesn't mean playing against one at the behest of the other. So not we are not now playing against one at the behest of the other. So that is a success of diplomacy, and that is a success of our foreign policy.